Hello everyone, welcome to business statistics class. So in previous video we have completed the third unit, that is univariate data analysis, and in today's video we will begin with the next important topic and the fourth unit, that is probability. So before we understand the concept of probability, let us know some of the basic concepts of mathematics that we'll be using while studying the probability. So the first concept is about factorial. So factorial n, let n be a positive integer, then the factorial n, which is denoted by, so n factorial is denoted by n and there is an exclamatory mark. So you can even denote factorial n as this symbol, and it is read as n factorial. So n factorial is equal to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 up to so on till 3 into 2 into 1. So this is an important step for simplifying a given factorial number. So suppose you want to take factorial of 5. So here n is nothing but 5. So the first term is nothing but n, which is 5, into n minus 1 is 4, that is 5 minus 1 is 4, into 5 minus 2 is 3, and into 2 into 1. So when you multiply all these terms, you will get 5 factorial. Similarly, 3 factorial would be 3 into 2 into 1, and 2 factorial is 2 into 1. And 7 factorial would be 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which is 5040 when you multiply. Also remember, 1 factorial is nothing but 1 and 0 factorial is always taken as 1. So the next important concept is permutations and combinations. So suppose there are n objects. Permutation is an orderly arrangement of R of these n objects, whereas combination is a selection of R objects from these n objects. So in permutation we are always focusing on an order of the arrangement, whereas in combination we are just focusing on selection of few objects from the given set of objects. So suppose you have 3 numbers, say 1, 2 and 3, and we have to construct 2-digit number using these 3 numbers. So then the possible 2-digit numbers would be 12, 21, so 1 2, 2 1, 1 3, 3 1 and 2 3 and 3 2. So we will get 12, 21, 13, 31, 23 and 32. So we can construct 6 permutations using 3 numbers, that is 1, 2 and 3. So this is called as permutation, because in each of these arrangements of 2 numbers selected from the 3 numbers, the order of arrangement has significance, because 1, 2, that is 12 and 21 are 2 different things. Though you are using the same numbers, the order of arrangement has a lot of importance. So these type of arrangement is an permutation. So there are 6 permutations. So now consider there are 3 friends, for example X, Y and Z, and among these 3 we have to select any 2 for some event. So then the possible selection would be XY, XZ and YZ. So YX is same as X and Y because these 2 persons are same. So here the order has no significance. We are just selecting the required objects from the set of objects. So therefore such selection is called as combination. So the number of permutations of n objects taken r at a time is denoted as npr. So this is capital P, n is the number of objects and r is the number of objects to be selected. So it is denoted as npr, or even it can be written in the suffix, that is npr. And the number of combinations of n objects taken r at a time is denoted by ncr. So combination is denoted as n in the prefix c and then r in the suffix, or else both the terms, that is small n and r, can be represented in suffix, or it can be written as even this form where it is read as ncr. So the formula to calculate the permutation, that is npr, is n factorial divided by n minus r factorial, and for combination the formula is, for ncr it is n factorial divided by r factorial into n minus r factorial. So there are some important notes. ncr is equal to n c n minus r. So for example, n is 5 and out of 5 we have to select 2 numbers, so which is equivalent in writing 5c3. So 5 minus 2 is 3, here r is 2, so we can even write 5c2 as 5c3. So when you substitute n and r for values in this formula, you'll get the same answer for both the combinations. And for r greater than n, the value of npr is equal to 0, and also for combination, that is ncr, it is 0 given r should be greater than n. That is 5p8 is equal to 0 and 5c8 is equal to 0. So now with this brief introduction about some basic concepts of mathematics, let us start with probability. So the theory of probability was originated as the theory of games and chances during the 17th century, and the classical definition of probability was given by Laplace in 1812, and then later there were many developments and many research and theories were proposed by many great statisticians. So we will be using probability in our day-to-day life also. So hence it is very important for us to understand the concept of probability. So suppose a fair coin is tossed. The toss may result in the occurrence of either head or in the occurrence of tail. Here the chance of head and tail are equal. So in other words, we can say the probability of occurrence of head is 0.5 or half, and the probability of occurrence of tail is half. So there is an equal chance of occurrence. So therefore, probability of an event is a numerical measure which indicates the chance of occurrence of that event. So here in this video we will study some of the important definitions of probability. So there are two types of experiments, and they are deterministic experiment and random experiment. A deterministic experiment, when repeated under the same conditions, results in the same outcome. That is, it has a unique outcome. For example, we can take many of the scientific research examples wherein you are verifying some of the laws. That is, you can say you are verifying Newton's third law, or you are verifying speed, distance and time relationship. All these have some unique outcome. So such type of experiments are called as deterministic experiment. The next type of experiment is random experiment. It is an experiment which may not result in the same outcome when repeated under the same conditions. It is an experiment which does not have an unique outcome. So here you are repeating an experiment in the same conditions, but each time whenever you're repeating an experiment you will get different outcomes. So here the outcome is not unique. So such type of experiments are called as random experiment. Suppose the experiment of toss of coin, we know that the result may be either head or tail. So you're tossing a coin, in the first result you may get a head, and again you'll toss a coin, in the second result you may get tail, and again you're tossing the same coin for the third time, you may get another tail. So each and every time whenever you're tossing a coin, the outcome may be different even though you're tossing the same coin. So such type of experiments is known as random experiment. So the next definition is sample space. The set of all possible outcomes of a random experiment is called as sample space, and it is denoted by capital S. So suppose we are tossing two coins simultaneously, then the sample space S is HH, HT, TH and TT, where H is H is head and T is tail. So whenever you toss two coins simultaneously, you may get both the coins to be head, or you may get one coin as head and the other coin as tail, which is HT, or you may get the first coin as tail and the second coin as head, which is TH, or you may get the both coins showing tails. Or we can say, while you're throwing a die, the sample space is capital S is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the set of all possible outcomes of a random experiment is called as sample space. So the outcomes of random experiment or the elements of the sample space are called as the sample points or outcomes. So suppose we are throwing a die, then we know that the sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all possible outcomes when you throw a die is, a die may show up either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. So all these points in a sample space are called as sample points, and the whole set is called as sample space. So the next definition is equally likely outcomes. If the outcome in a sample space have equal chance of occurrence, they are called as equally likely outcomes. So suppose we are tossing a coin, then the occurrence of head and tail are equally likely. So both have the same probability, that is 1/2. So such type of outcomes are called as equally likely outcomes. So the next definition is event. Event is a subset of sample space. Events are denoted by capital alphabets. Most commonly we will be representing an event as A, B or C, etc. So example, while throwing a die, event A is equal to 135 is an event. So A is equal to 135 is an event. So it means that it is the event that the throw results in an odd number. So suppose you are throwing a die, we want to know the event that throw will result in the odd number. So the next definition is null event. An event which does not contain any outcome is a null event. It is also called as impossible event, and it is denoted by 5. So this is null event. And an event which has only one outcome is called as elementary event or simple event. So an event which contains all outcomes is equal to the sample space, and it is called as sure event or certain event. So an event which has all the outcomes that are in the sample space, then such type of events are called as sure events or certain events. So example, while tossing two coins, let an event be considered, that is TT, that is two coins show up tails. So here A is equal to T. T is an event. It is the event that the toss results in two tails. Here A is a simple event. So this has only one outcome. So such type of events is known as simple event or elementary event. The outcome which belong to an event are said to be favorable to that event. So the next important definition is complementary event. Let A be an event, then the complementary event of A is the event of non-occurrence of A. It is the event constituted by the outcomes which are not favorable to A. So the complementary of A is denoted by A dash or A bar or A. So here C represents complement. So most commonly we will be using A dash, which is nothing but complement of event A. So suppose there is an event A, then A dash means that then the event A does not occur. So let us consider an example for better understanding. So while throwing a dice, if A is equal to 2, 4, 6, then its complement is A dash, which is equal to 1, 3 and 5. So we know that the sample space for throwing a die is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this is the sample space which is denoted by S. So here A is nothing but an event which represents that the throw results in an even number. But we have to take complement of event A, which is nothing but A dash. So here A dash is the event that throw does not result in an even number. So therefore A dash is an event that the throw results in odd number. So here 2, 4, 6 is event A. So the complement of this event is occurrence of the remaining numbers, that is the odd numbers, which is 1, 3 and 5. So the next important definition is union of events. Union of two or more events is the event of occurrence of at least one of these events. Thus, union of two events A and B is the event of occurrence of at least one of them. So the union of A and B are denoted by A union B or A plus B or A or B. So there are three ways you can represent the union of events. So suppose you have two events A and B. So when you take union, it means that among these two events, at least one of the events should occur. So for example, while tossing two coins simultaneously, let A is equal to HH, that is both the coins show up head, and let us consider another event which is B, that is both the coins show up tail, which is TT. So let us consider these two events, then their union is, so we can write union as A union B, or even you can write it as A plus B or A or B. So when you take union of event A and event B, we will get it as HH comma TT. So we can say that when two coins are tossed simultaneously, the union of two events, that is A and B, is the two coins can show up either head or tail and tail. So now let us see what is intersection of events. Intersection of two or more events is the event of simultaneous occurrence of all these events. Thus, intersection of two events A and B is the event of occurrence of both of them. The intersection of A and B is denoted by A intersection B, AB, or A and B. So in union we had U, and in intersection we have inverted U. And union means you are adding, so it is denoted by A plus B, and in intersection we are multiplying, which is A into B. And intersection we can also denote it as A and B, but union will be denoting as A or B. So suppose you are tossing two coins simultaneously, and let us consider two events. So let event A be, the two coins show head and tail, and let B be an event which has two coins showing head tail, and tail head. So now we have to find the intersection. So check for the common elements in both the events. So here head has been occurred in both the events. Therefore A intersection B is head. So in union we have to take the sample points of both the events, but in intersection we have to take only the common sample points. So the next important definition is mutually exclusive events. Two or more events are mutually exclusive if only one of them can occur at a time. That is, the occurrence of any of these events totally excludes the occurrence of the other event. Mutually exclusive events cannot occur together. So suppose you are tossing a coin, the outcomes head and tail are mutually exclusive, because when the coin is tossed once, the result cannot be head as well as tail. So when you toss a coin, either you will get the outcome as head or you will get it as tail. You can't get for single coin the outcome to be head as well as tail. So occurrence of one event excludes the occurrence of the other event. So such type of events are called as mutually exclusive events. So if A is an event, A and A dash are mutually exclusive. So A dash is nothing but complementary event of A. So we can say A and A dash are mutually exclusive. It should be noted that intersection of mutually exclusive events is a null event. So in the previous example that we had considered in complementary event, that is of a die is thrown, and event A is that a die results in odd number, that is 2, 4 and 6, and the complement of that is an event results in odd numbers, which is 1, 3 and 5. So if you take the intersection of these two events, so these two events are mutually exclusive. So when you take intersection, that is A intersection A dash, so there are no common numbers in these two events, 2, 4, 6 and 1, 3, 5. Therefore intersection of A and A dash is 0 or null event. So this is an important definition, that is mathematical or classical definition of probability. So whenever in the question they will in the exam, if they'll ask question define probability, you can write this definition, or they may even ask define the classical definition of probability or define mathematical definition of probability. So let us see what is this definition. So let a random experiment have n equally likely outcomes. Let m of these outcomes be favorable to an event A. Then the probability of A is, that is probability of A is denoted as P of A. So probability of event A is equal to number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. So here number of favorable outcomes is small m and total number of outcomes is small n. So therefore probability of A is equal to m by n. So here in the definition we are considering a random experiment. So we know what is random experiment, and there are n equally likely outcomes. We even know what are equally likely outcomes means, and in this we are considering m of the outcomes which are favorable to an event A. Then we have to find out the probability of event A, which is m by n. So this definition can be used only when the outcomes are equally likely and the number of outcomes is a finite quantity, that is n is finite. So probability of A is a value between 0 and 1, that is probability of A lies between 0 and 1. So whenever you are calculating a problem and they have asked you to find out probability of a certain event, and if your final answer excludes the range that is between 0 and 1, it means there is some mistake in your calculation. You have to recheck. So always the probability lies between 0 and 1. If A dash is complementary event of A, then probability of A dash is equal to 1 minus probability of A. So we can write probability of a complementary event as probability 1 minus probability of that event, that is 1 minus P of A. So the next important concept is addition theorem for any two events. So let A and B be two events with respective probabilities, probability of A and probability of B. Then the probability of occurrence of at least one of these two events is, so here they have given occurrence of at least one of these two events, which is union. So the addition theorem is probability of A union B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. So this is the addition theorem for any two events. So this theorem can be stated as probability of A union B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of AB. So AB is nothing but A intersection B, and union we know we can write it as A plus B. So therefore probability of A plus B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of AB. Or even we can represent it as probability of A or B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A and B. Here A and B is nothing but A intersection B, and this is A union B. So these are the different notations of addition theorem. So addition theorem for mutually exclusive events. So this was for addition theorem for two events, and this is for addition of mutually exclusive events. Let A and B be two mutually exclusive events with respective probabilities, that is probability of A and probability of B. Then the probability of occurrence of at least one of these two events is probability of A union B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B. So the probability of A intersection B is 0. So this is for addition theorem in case of mutually exclusive events. So these were the basic and important definitions of probabilities. So in the next class we will study some of the problems of probabilities. So that's it for today's class. Thank you.